Do you know what conspiracy is? Do you know what that is? I know that you've heard the word. I'm not attempting to condescend you. I know you've heard the word. It's not what I asked you. Do you know what conspiracy is? Meaning, do you know what it means? Do you think you know what it means, or do you know what it means? Conspiracy is to have a conversation with somebody, and the topic you're discussing is illegal. That is now a conspiracy. You could commit conspiracy on accident. I'll just share that with you. There are so many laws out there. You could have a conversation with somebody about something illegal and not even know it's illegal and have committed a federal crime that comes with mandatory minimum sentencing of 24 months. It's true. Almost every federal case that you will ever hear of somebody that's charged with, that word will be in there, conspiracy. They don't take the time to tell you that person had a conversation. I share that with you because it's very relevant. Like the great gangsters will never have a conversation. They will speak to you in a different language. If you are part of the club and you are a fellow gangster, you will understand that language, which is conversations by what they didn't say. It's very relevant that you understand that. Ariel Helwani had brought this up about a year ago. And Ariel was specifically talking about MMA judging. And Ariel was making the point that to have impropriety or to have a conflict of interest, you never first have to commit conspiracy. You never have to have a conversation. There's other things that you can do that somebody can observe where they get their cues and they go to the judge's table and they would be influenced as human beings that would lean them in one direction or another. Ariel talked about specifically, it was over a year ago, but I remember it. He talked about specifically that MMA judges are fans. So they watch the press conferences. They read the dirt sheets. They see the headlines. Store that thought away and just think of yourself as a human being, right? Now, you're quick to talk about boxing judges. And there's a make-believe notion in your head that there's these conversations going on, or that prior to any of that, there was a specific training going on. You have a lot of these things made up, these preconceptions in your head, as you do of many people, but you don't do that in the plumbing world. You don't do that in the roofing world. You don't do that in the drywall world. You don't do that in the carpeting world. I mean, you don't do that in the education world. I use those examples because you know plumbers, you know roofers, you know window guys, you know educators. You don't know any boxing judges, do you? In your whole life, you've never been a boxing judge, have you? In your whole life, when teachers went around the classroom and asked kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? None of them raised their hand and said boxing judge, did they? Oh, and lo and behold, none of them went on to become boxing judges. You didn't go to a 10-year reunion or a 20-year reunion and you run into somebody, hey, what have you been doing? I'm a boxing judge. It's never happened to you. Nobody in your family, nobody in your neighborhood, nobody that you even know. But you're still convinced of the make-believe notion that there was a training and a process put in. You don't know anybody that did it. Then how many people do you think are signing up for this make-believe class that doesn't exist? How many people do you think are registering and going in and taking notes for the make-believe class that you know no university or junior college or high school or junior high for that matter has a curriculum for? And it's a very interesting concept because on a human level, use yourself. Since you don't know anybody, use yourself. If you were a judge, do you know what the judges make, by the way? Do you know what those are paid? It's less than $2,000. I'll leave it at that because it would depend on the event and it would vary. So I'll just be very comfortable when I tell you it's less than $2,000. But you need those assignments and it's not something you can do part-time. If you get called by a commission and if the fight that they would like you for is in some place that's not convenient for you, if you say no, you now go to the bottom of the list where you belong. If you let the commission know that this is just a side hobby for you, and if it's in a nice sunny place they're flying you to, you'll talk to your wife and see if you can bring her along. They're not going to take you seriously. You're not going to get those assignments. But it's relevant that you understand that. Since you don't know anybody, since you've never spoke to a boxing judge ever in your life, I'm letting you know these things so you can attempt to follow the golden rule of life of put yourself in somebody else's shoes. How would you act? So since now you understand that it's important that if you're going to do judging and you can't turn assignments down, you're now understanding that it's going to take up a meaningful amount of your time. That you're not going to fly in the day of or the day before. You're going to have to get there a couple of days early. Well, now you got travel days, you got sleep days, you don't go home to the next day. All of a sudden you realize it's kind of hard to do anything else. All of a sudden you start to realize just on a human level that if you're going to be a judge, that's all you're going to do if you can do it, right? It's a lot like a professional fighter. You don't get drafted and then you get a multi-million-dollar signing bonus. But if you can fully focus on one thing, and anybody that reached the heights found a way to get to where it was the only thing that they did. So once you understand these very basic principles, you're then going to understand the policies and bureaucracies that go into getting assigned. And of all the things that have ever been revealed to you in this sport, of all the things that you think you know as the biggest expert in this sport, the ultimate fan, the one that's followed it, you don't know anything about what goes in to who gets assigned. Not only do you not know, you never even thought to ask. Not only did you never think to ask, there has never been an article written. There's not a pundit out there. There's not a journalist out there that actually knows what goes into who gets assigned to what event and why. Okay. Now, you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes. This was the mismatch sporting event of my lifetime. The competitiveness of this match is what makes it one of the great sporting events of my lifetime. I'm not going to run those words back that it was the Globetrotters versus the Lakers. Tyson Fury himself said this is a good, solid table tennis player playing the Wimbledon champion for the Wimbledon championship. He's right. The pay-per-view numbers aren't in for this. I suspect it's a bomb. Now, that isn't to speak about the event. The event was amazing, but we didn't know that going in. Okay? Very relevant. The timetable and the way things happened are of the utmost importance if you want to show respect to what Francis did. Because history won't. History will be in a book, in a magazine, on a .com that will have to be searched somewhere. It will pop up, you'll take a quick look, and you'll move on with your life. And all that is going to say is the result. That's it. To see the result without understanding the expectation leading into it will not allow you to understand the story the way that it happened. So, you bring your judges in, okay? You can't make money on that fight. That fight was not trending in a direction. Your big sports guys, your sports centers, your Jim Romes, your Dan Lebitards didn't touch this thing with a 10-foot pole. The indicators of the success of this, they didn't exist. So when you're the promoter and you're aware of that, you turn it into a commercial. Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury was set to be, I'm not telling you that's what it turned out to be, it was set to be a marketing and a commercial for Usyk versus Fury. That's all that was intended to be. By the people that go, oh my God, I got to go through this work. I got to put this on. This is ridiculous. Okay, great. I found somebody that's going to write the check. Fine. It's all gravy for me, but I still need an ROI. I'm a businessman. I need something that's sustainable and repeatable. They turned it into a commercial. They sat Usyk in the front row to bring Usyk in to face off with Tyson Fury. That's all this event was about. We're going to get a highlight reel finish from Tyson Fury. We're going to face him off on a contract that already has been signed for a date of December 23rd. You don't need to have a conspiracy. You don't need to sit the judges down. You don't need to explain anything to them. If they have the sense that God gave geese, when you're preparing for a mismatch and you have Usyk to get in the ring to face off with Fury, There's not a debate on which way the script goes. This isn't a maybe. If you would like future assignments, it's not a maybe on how the script goes. This guy Fury is going to fight this guy Usyk, which means this guy Fury has got to win. Do you see the problem?